in the United States, Latin America, and Western Europe. Oliver, are you ready?
Yes, I am. And thank you very much, Paula and Adriana, for having me here today. I am Oliver Zugel. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Foliumed. And I wanted to start off this session with a question to everyone. And the question is, if your mother suffered from chronic pain, how would you feel if she needed to be treated by smoking medical cannabis? And the fact is that while smoking your medicine is still pretty common in North America, it is frowned upon in medical markets like Germany or Australia, where cannabis is prescribed by doctors, and doctors really are concerned about the harmful side effects of smoking. The second question I would ask is, to what extent would you buy cannabis from a producer who cannot make the medicine according to pharmaceutical standard? And here again, the reality is that worldwide today, there are only 15 companies who meet strict pharmaceutical manufacturing standards for the product. And so there are only 15 companies who are producing medical cannabis to a standard you would expect from any prescription medicine. And final question, if an annual treatment with medical cannabis would set you back by $15,000, which is what it actually costs you to treat a serious chronic condition with medical cannabis flower in Germany today, how would you feel about that? So these three factors, I think, have led us, when we created Foliumed 2.5 years ago, to come up with what we hope to be a relevant solution to these challenges which the industry is facing today. Number one, we're offering standardized and ingestible product. That's how people typically take medicine, with precise dosing and long-term effects. That is much easier for a doctor to prescribe. It's much easier for the patient to take and to administer than smoking a cannabis joint. Secondly, whilst we are cultivating the cannabis in the Colombian highlands, the finished product is produced strictly to pharmaceutical standards in a German manufacturing facility. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second. And finally, we feel that cannabis today, outside of the United States, again, is very expensive, and we are offering a affordable solution, which is also reimbursable by health insurance companies. So just a quick glimpse of the products which we are commercializing. We are producing revenue since June, so it's relatively new. We are now selling ingredients, which are the products on the right-hand side, as well as non-psychoactive CBD formulations in a variety of dosage forms, including your hard capsules, soft capsules, tinctures, and topicals. For next year, we're working on psychoactive medicines, and that's in conjunction with our German pharmaceutical partner. Those are highly purified extracts, which have psychoactive component and therefore treated as narcotics. A quick look at our facility in Germany. It is a facility which has been producing opioids for the last 30 years and has 100 employees and is certified by about 20 regulators and customers from different countries. I wanted to also show you a little bit more of a highlight why we feel that cannabis is very expensive. So here, what you see on the chart is how medical grade cannabis is priced in Germany at this point. Bionorica is the lead competitor. Today, they have 90% market share. They're selling 1 gram of extract for 300 euros per gram to the pharmacy. That is about 5 times the price of gold today, and it's obviously not sustainable, neither for the health insurance companies as for the patients in the long term. Our leadership team combines pharmaceutical experience on the one hand, cannabis experience on the other, and experience in highly regulated industries. We are a senior team. Each one of us has more than 25 years of senior management experience. We all have had prior ventures in cannabis as well and in pharma before, which we exited. and we're very familiar of working with institutional investors, whether it's private equity funds or hedge funds. I personally ran a publicly listed company for the last 15 years before I came into cannabis, and I'm familiar, therefore, with how institutional investors work. In terms of the metrics for our business, we started selling in June. We are on track to meet our 2020 sales target, which is $450,000. It's still a small number, but we are confident we're going to get there. Our cash burn is $70,000 per month, with a break-even expected in the first half of 2021. And we have a sales projection of 65 million in 2024 and 31 million of EBITDA. We are raising up to $5 million. $5 million is what it takes to fully fund the business plan. And the use of funds is for extraction equipment, R&D, and working capital. Final note, the majority of the funding has been brought in by the founders. We have investors in Colombia and in Singapore right now. So in summary, why invest in Foliumed? I think we are combining the advantage of low-cost cultivation in Colombia with having a world-class pharmaceutical asset in Germany, which produces to the most stringent pharmaceutical manufacturing standards in the world. We have a local presence in what is going to be the largest and most attractive market for medical cannabis, which is Europe and Germany in particular. And we have a management team which has over 100 years of experience and has worked with institutional investors successfully and produced exits with good returns for them. Execution risk, I think, in our company is relatively low. We have been operating now for 2.5 years. We're generating revenues, and the capital and the business model is pretty capital light. In terms of valuation, we're looking for a 20 million pre-money valuation. That is for 5 million, 20% of the company. And final note, I want to talk about why we created our leitmotif, Be Better Today. That's first of all of what we wish for our patients and how they should, we wish them to feel when they take our products. And secondly, hold on, I have some dogs barking. And secondly, I lost my case here. And secondly, this is what we're setting out for ourselves to do in the world of medical cannabis. We want to bring medical cannabis in an affordable way to a broader set of the population. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Don't worry, it happens in these virtual times. Thank you very much for your presentation. Okay, let's go now to Q&A. Oliver, where do you see, are you ready for answers? Oliver?
Yes, I'm back here. So yeah, I needed to take care of the dog issue. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Ready for us?
Yes, I am.
Keep going with our next entrepreneur. You are, okay. Yes, the first question, Oliver, where do you see the main risk in the project?
Well, I think we're dealing with a highly regulated industry, and therefore I think always the risk sits in the regulations. I think there are two things people are worried about. Will there at some point in time be a restriction of bringing Colombian ingredients into the European Union or other markets? We feel that's very unlikely to happen. I think we're seeing positive tailwinds for regulation as opposed to anything else. And on top of it, having the German joint venture allows us to source products locally. So not only import from our own cultivation in Colombia, but also from European suppliers like they're coming up in Germany right now.
Oliver, what are your digital marketing strategies?
We are not commercializing at this point in time digitally. So this is something we have deliberately kept back because for now, most of our products are B2B, either ingredients, so that's still a traditional B2B sales model, or they are white label products which are commercialized by others. So we have not felt that at this point in time, building an end consumer brand is something we should do. Thank you very much, Oliver. And now to our investors, you're going to have
30 seconds to answer the question in our interactive virtual poll.